In China today, there are many gold diggers, women who rely on men for financial gain. Their sole purpose in dating men is for money. Moreover, modern gold diggers have evolved into various types. If your circumstances are slightly better, you might encounter these types of gold diggers. Here are some common types. The first type, the lowest level gold digger. This type of gold digger is very direct. If you have even a little contact with her, she will ask you for money. Many live streamers fall into this category. If you want to add her as a friend, she demands you send gifts, like a sports car or airplane. On dates, she will also ask you for money or even send you links to order takeout for her. Various excuses are all just ways to get you to spend money. This type of gold digger is easy to identify and is the lowest level. The second type, relatively more sophisticated gold diggers. These gold diggers use a hot and cold approach, giving you the illusion that she might like you, but not clearly. She will deliberately get close to you during meetings or dates, with some physical contact, but when you want to take it further, she will pull away. She is cold when you are enthusiastic and warm when you are indifferent. After going through this a few times, you might not be able to resist confessing your feelings. But she won't outright reject you, instead saying that your relationship isn't at that stage yet, or that she is slow to warm up to relationships. This type of gold digger is also easy to recognize. Before you establish a relationship with her, she will accept your gifts and money transfers, maybe hesitating a bit, but ultimately accepting them. Even if she returns the money, it's just a stalling tactic, or she feels the amount is not enough. The last type, the highest level gold digger. This type of gold digger is the hardest to identify, but fortunately, they usually target only wealthy men. They are very skilled at providing emotional value, making you feel extremely comfortable in the relationship. You will feel that spending money on her is entirely voluntary. She won't actively ask for money. She seems very sincere, making you believe she is your dream girl. This type of gold digger is very skilled, having encountered all types of men and knowing their weaknesses. They know how to make a man feel genuine sincerity, even if it is fake. They will continually guide you to believe she truly loves you. Additionally, in China, there are even more advanced gold diggers. They tailor different strategies for different types of men, based on their age, background, and experiences. Whether you are a second-generation rich kid, a business owner, an ordinary office worker, or a public official, they will have different strategies.
Recently, there have been numerous cases where women deceive men for financial gain and then disappear suddenly. Have you encountered such situations? The plot of gold-digging women is strikingly similar. Men transfer varying sums, from tens of thousands to over 100,000, to their girlfriends, only to end up breaking up. What's even more astonishing is the case of a wealthy second-generation individual who dated his ex-girlfriend for less than a year and bought her items worth millions. She cited reasons such as her parents falling ill, her brother facing difficulties, needing money for cosmetics, being unable to pay rent due to birthday celebrations, and demanded money under various pretexts. Initially, she claimed it was a loan, but later switched to direct demands. Recently, she vanished without a trace, prompting the man to realize he had been deceived and seek legal assistance. Dealing with such matters typically involves two main approaches: handling it as a private loan or issuing fraud alerts. Everyone must remain vigilant against gold-digging schemes. Recently, there has been a case of a baiting woman in our local area. The situation is roughly as follows. Mr. Lee, in April this year, met a woman known as a baiting woman through a social networking app. After online and offline communications, they established a romantic relationship. During their relationship, this woman claimed that her mother was seriously ill, her father was in debt due to gambling, and her family faced various misfortunes. She also claimed to have health issues and financial difficulties herself, requesting MRLI's help to pay for medical expenses, debts, and even friends' birthday gifts. Mr. Lee eventually realized something was amiss but was manipulated by the woman using various PUA and psychological tactics, leading him to pay large sums of money through online loans for her. The situation has now escalated, and local police have found that the woman is suspected of fraud, with multiple related cases on record. Indeed, there is a fundamental difference between a baiting woman and a fraudster on the surface. They are both motivated by money, but a baiting woman may exaggerate her image, yet she is at least a real person. In contrast, a fraudster is entirely fabricated, including their family background, education, work, and everything else. However, the most easily overlooked aspect is appearance. In Emerali's case, when asked by the police if he had a photo of the woman, they were surprised by what they saw. This baiting woman is not remarkably attractive. She is full-bodied and not considered beautiful, without any plastic surgery. This appearance often leads people to overlook her true intentions. If the person is conventionally attractive, people tend to be more cautious. There is also a fundamental difference in the choice of targets between fraudsters and baiting women. A fraudster always targets those who seem easy to deceive. For example, people like Mr. Lee are often perceived as innocent and emotionally invested, willing to help others at all costs, but this is not always the case in reality. Mr. Lee is introverted, lacks social experience, and has limited understanding of the opposite sex. His naivety allowed this baiting woman to easily manipulate and deceive him.
Recently, a live broadcast by the Hunan High Court in China, showing a woman being forced to return the betrothal gifts, has sparked heated discussions online. The woman was forcibly taken away by court police for refusing to return the betrothal gifts. The incident began when a woman from Changsha, Hunan met a man from Shanghai during a trip. After meeting once, they decided to get married quickly. The Shanghai man spent 200,000 yuan on betrothal gifts to marry the woman. He also bought luxury goods, and with various other expenses, the total cost amounted to 300,000 yuan. He thought he had found a wife with whom he could spend the rest of his life and have a family. However, things did not turn out as he expected. After the marriage, the woman only met with the man twice. To his shock, he discovered that the woman had a child with her ex-boyfriend when she was in her teens. The man then asked the woman to move to Shanghai to live with him, but she refused, leading to disputes and a divorce. The man demanded that she return the betrothal gifts and filed for divorce. After the court ruled for the divorce, the woman claimed she was willing to reconcile and move to Shanghai to live with him. The man then gave her another 100,000 yuan, but the woman ultimately went back on her word. Eventually, she was forcibly taken away by court police, and the entire process was broadcasted live. In the police car, when asked if she was willing to return the betrothal gifts, the woman confidently replied, "I spent money too, why should I return it, didn't I spend my own money?" Sadly, the man tried to prove his love by satisfying her demands, only to end up with a heartbreaking outcome.
我在去年的时候被一个女人捞了100多万。
Last year, I was swindled out of 1 million yuan by a woman. She was a seemingly innocent college student who resembled the woman of my dreams. The first time we met, when she brushed her hair aside, I felt regret, sadness, and reluctance. We met through a social app, and her appearance reminded me of my ex-girlfriend. I wanted to chat with her, so we mutually liked each other on the app and added each other on WeChat. After adding her on WeChat, we didn't chat much, but she called me saying she was doing a campus part-time job and got stranded in the suburbs late at night due to heavy rain. She asked if I could pick her up. She told me all her friends were already asleep, and coincidentally, I was having trouble sleeping that night, so I thought why not go and see her out of curiosity. In truth, I drove over 100 kilometers to find her. When I arrived, I saw her drenched in the rain, looking pitiful with a flushed face, wearing a white dress and a floral headband. I hurriedly brought her back to my place and gave her some of my oversized shirts to change into. She stayed over at my house while I stayed in a nearby hotel. The next morning, I drove her back to school, and before going back, I bought her a few dresses. I thought she was different from other girls. She didn't disappear or stop replying after spending my money. Spending 3,000 yuan on dresses didn't seem like much, considering she was a simple living college student. She said she wanted to treat me to a meal to thank me for picking her up the previous night, which I found normal. After that, our relationship heated up, and I thought she resembled my ex-girlfriend a lot. We made plans to go play in the suburbs, and our feelings quickly intensified. I thought she was a very suitable girlfriend for me. When the weather was hot, she wiped my sweat and bought me ice cream. I really felt she had a special affection for me. But sometimes during our conversations, based on my experience, she didn't seem like a college student at all, but more like someone with extensive work experience. One day, I received a call from a buddy asking about recent business contracts and why I hadn't been answering his calls. I told him I was chatting with a girl I was dating, and he told me he knew her and that she wasn't normal. A friend of his had been cheated by her. That's when I started feeling something was wrong. I looked at that girl, and suddenly I was scared, but I still insisted that she genuinely liked me. She kept insisting she was a college student who had never dated before, and how much she liked me, and even shed tears. Seeing all this, I felt moved again. Later, one day she said she needed to urgently return to her hometown because her father was hospitalized. She asked me to lend her 1 million yuan for her father's surgery, saying if I truly loved her, she would come back and marry me after. At that moment, I truly believed she was the woman of my dreams, so I willingly gave her the money afterwards. She blocked all my contacts, and I couldn't reach her again.
How can you tell if a woman is a gold digger? Actually, the simplest way is to observe her social media, especially her moments on WeChat. If she frequently posts pictures of high-end consumption, whether in Sanya, Dubai, or Shanghai, and you can't figure out her occupation, and there are never any family photos in her moments, then there is a 90% chance she is a gold digger. Some friends might ask, if she doesn't travel often or spend lavishly, does that mean she isn't a gold digger? Not necessarily. You also need to look at her captions. If she writes things like, if you like me, you should be willing to spend on me, or even if she isn't that direct but implies that a man who truly loves her should treat her in certain ways, then it's highly likely she is fishing for men who are willing to spend money on her. In such cases, she is definitely a gold digger. Additionally, almost all gold diggers will get beauty treatments and usually live in luxury homes. Ordinary wealthy women, even if they undergo facial treatments, tend to be conservative and natural, not overly excessive. Those gold diggers who inject expensive beauty treatments could spend tens of thousands per session. Where does this money come from? It comes from men. Moreover, most gold diggers have relatively low cultural and educational levels. They often don't take cosmetic surgery seriously and are easily misled by friends into choosing substandard clinics. Their photos might look beautiful, but in reality, they look different from how they appear online. If you encounter such a situation, you need to be careful. What do you think about these gold diggers? Feel free to leave your comments below and join the discussion with us. Well, that's all for today's video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. We will continue to provide you with real reports as always. Thank you again for watching, and see you in the next episode.